The POC Awards had some of us sitting on the edge of our seats. But now it's time to jump into our first deep dive session of the day. A great discussion on addressing customer needs and aligning on SASE. Let's hear what some of our experts have to say. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Here we go with our next deep dive session. This is addressing customer needs. It's time to align on SASE. Now, as always, we have three industry experts joining us today for another insightful discussion. We are thrilled to have with us Vassilis Sanidas, VP Security Solutions Management, Global Presales and Technology Engagement, PCCW Global. Marc Cohn, Principal Technology Strategist Virtualization, Spirent, and Jonathan Nguyen, VP Field CISO Fortinet. Gentlemen, welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for being a part of the MEF Infinite Edge series. We're excited to chat with you today, so let's begin. First question, we're going to start generally here. Why is SASE in demand, and what are the key benefits of SASE services for end users? Let's go Vassilis, Jonathan, if you would, please.
Okay. As enterprises evolve, they are increasingly less dependent on the private data center. With applications and data moving to the cloud, either private or public, and users are likely to be working remotely as in the office, IT can no longer limit to enterprise network to connect just branch offices to data centers. SD-WAN technology enables a number of new design principles, but is not sufficient because it does not cover the needs of remote users as well as security aspects. Today, organizations, due to the pandemic, COVID-19, and not only, require secure, uninterrupted access to network and cloud-based resources and data, including definitely business-critical applications, no matter where their users are located. This change in the way modern enterprises cover business objectives requires a new innovative architecture. This architecture could be achieved through SASE. SASE combines the functions of network and security solutions into a unified global model service. I consider that this convergence to be driven by customers' demands for simplicity, scalability, low latency, and definitely enhanced security. Some of the most obvious, let's say, benefits of SASE could be cost and complexity reduction, better network performance, security improvement and performance, less overhead delivering a better user experience, local enforcement because SASE provides centralized management with a distributed implementation. However, I believe that the biggest benefit of SASE is the increased agility in accelerating business velocity.
So, SASE is really a reflection of digital transformation. And what we've seen over the last 10 years is a fundamental shift of our compute. So previously, we owned the data center. We owned the infrastructure. We did that organically. But as you shift computing to cloud, we're no longer routing that traffic and backhauling it back to a data center, which is less and less relevant, right? And so now we're accessing cloud resources and services from the cloud from multiple edges, from the home edge, mobile edge, branch offices, et cetera. And so as we move the compute to cloud, that drove demand for SD-WAN. So we're not hub and spoke architectures no longer. We're using application-aware, software-defined wide area networks to really accelerate network performance and lower costs, improving outcomes and experiences. The corollary to the networking piece really is SASE, the secured access service edges, and the ability to provide security to those edges so they can safely and securely and seamlessly access those cloud services. Now, SASE has all types of form factors, but the key benefits are the integration capability of network security with network management to optimize performance across the LAN edge, the WAN edge, and the cloud edge. One of the key tenets about digital transformation and success there for just about any organization today is that in order to deliver the outcome and the experience, the compute and the cloud has to be optimized and really integrated with the network access protocols, which is SD-WAN, and all of that has to be secure. So I think the real benefits across the board right now for users of all sizes is the ability to provide seamless access from those edges and to really apply in a uniform manner those zero trust principles that have been in existence for 10 plus years now. And all that yields better security, better network performance, and optimize computing in the cloud. And that comes right back to what we're all looking for today, which is better business outcomes, better customer experiences. And that's what really SASE delivers.
Great insights there. Thank you both so much. Let's move now to talk about your organization's approach to SASE. I'm going to go back to Vassilis to start us off here, and then Marc, Jonathan, please.
Although SASE standardization is still pending, is not yet ready, PCCW Global already has in place some critical components of SASE, which incorporate as a single integrated holistic ecosystem, including connectivity, networking, and security elements. And all of these elements will be supported by an advanced automated core platform to ensure broad visibility and granular control across the entire network. Our journey is ongoing, and however, the three main areas that are undergoing further evaluation, improvement, and development are technology and applications in cooperation with our technology vendors and partners like Fortinet, the company of Jonathan, automation utilizing the digital platforms and digital marketplace that will help us to operate in a much more accelerated way and deliver value to our users. And last but not least, the customer-facing concept, increasing the confidence and the value of our end customers, our users.
And as the leading provider for network and security test, Spirent is developing a comprehensive solution to optimize the configuration for cloud security functions deployed in a SASE architecture. Spirent is also a leading contributor to the security testing for the MEF. And last fall, we initiated the Security Test and Certification Incubation Group, which is exploring how we can drive more comprehensive testing in the MEF security standards, along with the MEF initial security certification that's being considered.
Thanks for that question, Jeff. So our approach at Fortinet around SASE is built around this concept of security-driven networking, which is a convergence of networking and security to drive security across the LAN edge, the WAN edge, and the cloud edge. And so when you deconstruct SASE, there are a couple of pillars. There is the zero trust access pillar. There is the component around integration with SD-WAN, the network management aspects of it. There's also components in the firewalls of service, secure web gateways of service, and CASB. And the unique thing about Fortinet is, yes, we have the ability to deliver those capabilities across multiple form factors, right? So not everyone is going to have the same SASE journey. Not everyone is going to be a cloud native in day one. So the ability to offer flexible consumption models, form factors, and licensing models, but yet have the same look and feel and that holistic security strategy with network management, plus a presence in the largest public clouds in the world, that's what our approach at Fortinet is with regards to SASE.
Fantastic. Moving on now. Let's talk about the factors that are impacting SASE adoption. Jonathan, why don't you start us off, and then we'll hear from Marc.
So absolutely, the factors that are driving SASE adoption is really cloud migration and cloud adoption. So as you begin to shift that compute from your data centers, and the cloud becomes your new data center, you have to think about your architecture. And when you network and security always follows the compute. So if you're going to shift the compute, SD-WAN follows naturally. And as you shift the networking to SD-WAN, you're going to think about security. You're not backhauling all that traffic back to a centralized gateway in a data center. You now are thinking about, how do I provide seamless access from all these new edges, right? The remote locations, the mobile worker, the branch office, the regional office, the factory floor, the rise of edge computing. Those factors that drive the need to access and consume services from the cloud drive the need to secure those edges. So SASE is the most effective way. It's a concept about how we provide security to those edges. And the way I look at it is, look, whether you choose an appliance to deliver that, whether you choose a cloud web gateway to do that, all of it has to be natively integrated with SD-WAN, right? And so you have to reduce complexity. You have to have integrated and holistic visibility and control. And by the way, you have to have that natively, meaning like in the marketplaces across those largest public clouds, and you need to apply zero trust principles. And so all that is driving that. So the pandemic accelerated those digital transformation macro dynamics, right? Those macro trends are only going to be here to stay. Data-driven decision-making, proactive and predictive maintenance and control, all those factors drive more remote access. Edge computing will drive more cloud resource demand, and all of that's going to drive this need to secure that seamless access from these edges that are multiplying. And so, yeah, you're going to see SASE in whichever form factor makes sense for that enterprise continue to drive forward. I don't see that changing for the next at least 10 years.
And I agree with Jonathan's assessment on the factors that are driving SASE adoption. But of course, there are some factors that are hindering adoption at this point. And first and foremost, enterprise end users need an effective means to migrate from their existing physically perimeter-based security architecture to a distributed SASE environment. And since there's rarely a clean cutover, a SASE-based architecture must accommodate a mix of existing security functions that are resident in a data center, hardware-based appliances, and even CPE. Another challenge is the edge cloud environment, which is not ubiquitously available and exposes diverse functionality and performance for the various different instantiations. And then like SD-WAN, SASE is lacking the degree of standardization and operational best practices that operators have come to expect. MSPs in particular are wary of proprietary stacks and the vendor lock-in they represent. On the other hand, multi-vendor solutions are highly complex to integrate, deploy, and maintain, at least at this time. And on that note, additional tools are required to enable systematic design, deployment, and operations for SASE-based services. And because purpose-built SASE test and management tools do not yet exist, operators are forced to repurpose their existing network and security validation tools, which are proving inadequate to confront the new challenges imposed by a SASE-based architecture.
Well, Marc, you teed me up perfectly here for this next question. Got to ask, why do we need standardized SASE services and a standardized architecture? Vassilis, we're going to go to you first, and then Marc, we'd love to come back to you.
So, very good question regarding standardization. So, while SASE is designed to address the access control and secure WAN challenges today's organization face, the problem is that very few vendors are qualified to provide a complete SASE solution in the market currently. Moreover, due to the fact that SASE is not standardized, various technology vendors or service providers follow their own SASE model from technological and commercial point of view to promote their strengths. This creates a need for interoperability, standardization, and a set of clear definitions that service providers as well as technology vendors can work with and that end users can trust. Then customers don't have yet a really effective way of evaluating SASE solutions. The problem is amplified when vendors with minimal or a narrow security experience provide SASE solutions, elements, and architecture, and rush to take advantage of SASE as a buzz marketing term. So, one of the biggest challenges facing SASE adapters is the lack of standardization, which can create significant confusion for any enterprise considering a transition to the new technology. So, I consider that standardization is very, very important.
And I agree with Vassilis' comments on the confusion that are caused. And one of the benefits of standardization, which has proved fundamental to the adoption of many new telecommunications technologies, is that providing that common language, which can lead to that dialogue that enables multiple different parties from different organizations to be able to collaborate towards a common goal of creating new standards. And those standards provide the major step toward multi-vendor interoperability that operators in particular are looking for. The emergence, however, of software-driven standards has really altered the standards landscape, and it's ushering in new models for open source, open APIs, and it's also can significantly compress the service delivery lifecycle. And that in turn implies dictates that standardization will be essential for SASE, especially considering the wide range of cloud security functions and the diverse implementation scenarios, not to mention the ever-present and ever-changing threats that are in the security landscape. So the MEF has responded to this need by introducing 3 security projects. MEF-88, which is the application security for SD-WAN project, defines commonly used security functions that will ultimately be deployed in a SASE architecture. MEF-117, the SASE service definition, defines a managed distributed security service where the security functions defined in MEF-88 will be deployed in the cloud. And then MEF-118, the zero trust framework, specifies a dynamic policy-based approach to granting access to the SASE networks, as Jonathan alluded to earlier.
So I think at this point we should talk about what the key components of a SASE architecture are. Would you mind taking that one, Vassilis, and then we'll go back to Jonathan.
The main attributes of a SASE architecture can be considered, first of all, to be identity-driven rather than location-driven. This approach reduces operational overheads by letting companies develop one set of networking and security policies for users regardless of device or locations and all this stuff. Also, to be cloud native, a SASE service should be utilizing a cloud native architecture. However, the client premises that equipment deployment options have to be available. Also, policy enforcement and distributed inspection are critical because SASE not only connects devices and users, but also does the job of protecting them as a security. To support all ages, SASE has to create one secure network for all companies' entities, data centers, branch offices, cloud resources, and obviously remote users, mobile users. Moreover, to support global distribution, SASE has to ensure that the full networking security capabilities are available everywhere and to deliver the best possible experience to all ages. And last but not least, to have a global SD-WAN footprint. One of the goals of SASE is to deliver the optimal possible network performance for all the applications everywhere. SASE involves a universal SD-WAN service that operates over a private and also public backbone.
So yeah, absolutely. Great points by Vassilis. I think those elements that we spoke about earlier, for any successful SASE platform moving forward, I think it has to support zero trust network access and a number of form factors, be it identity-based, be it appliance-based, right? Or location-based. It depends on what combination of characteristics that user is going to need. It's got to support integrally SD-WAN because it's the security corollary to SD-WAN. The two really cannot be separated. In fact, I think moving forward, we've talked about this for years, the need for network operations and security operations to work holistically. So I think from a technology and a platform and a standard side, we should support that capability. So clearly SD-WAN has to be integral and supported across that SASE capability. Beyond that, though, the firewall as a service, secure web gateway as a service, and then the CASB capabilities as well. Ultimately, what I'd like to be able to see in any successful SASE platform is the ability to ensure that every request for network access from those edges, which are expanding, are identified, authenticated, validated, logged, and monitored, and using CASB to understand the final disposition of what was accessed. And I think all of that needs to be done in an integrated way. Standards are a fabulous approach because it allows consumers and enterprises to fully understand what is being offered and to judge and see what's best for them. So I applaud the MEF efforts around that. But clearly, foundationally moving forward, we're going to see zero trust, SD-WAN, and SASE as fundamental elements of any IT strategy moving forward.
Great, thank you. I don't know how we got here so fast, but we're just about at time. I do want to squeeze in one final discussion point here. I'd love to hear your perspective on testing and certifying SASE solutions before we bring it to a close here. Marc, let's go to you, and then we'll close it off with Vassilis.
All right, thank you. Test already plays a major role in the development and adoption of MEF standards. For example, certification has proved essential to the widespread adoption of carrier Ethernet, and more recently, the SD-WAN service standards as well. So certification offers vendors and operators the differentiation they're seeking, at least initially, until more and more players are actually certified. And it also offers an opportunity to validate claims for conformance and ultimately streamlines the procurement process. Today's leading operators would not even consider deploying carrier Ethernet devices that have not achieved MEF certification. Another key area is service activation testing, which has already been standardized for carrier Ethernet and IP connectivity services, and is now being evolved into service readiness testing for SD-WAN. While a similar approach will be applied to the emerging SASE family of standards, there's some major differences between network and security testing. Whereas network testing has traditionally been standards-based, fixed, and employs simulated traffic, security testing is ad hoc, highly dynamic, and uses emulated traffic to ensure accurate results. And to further investigate the role of testing and certification for SASE and all the security services, Spirent is leading the Security Test and Certification Incubation Group, which is already analyzing the functional verification requirements for the security functions specified in MEF-88 and is anticipated to channel requirements back into the MEF 117 and 118 projects for SASE and Zero Trust. And we're also offering or collaborating with the MEF to analyze the first MEF security certification program, an effort that's well underway.
Generally speaking, PCCW Global follows a business-like study and certification approach for various solutions and technologies in the market in order to ensure that our colleagues are trained and stayed up to date constantly. Actually, it is part of our methodology and mentality. Don't forget that recently PCCW Global certified by MEF for carrier Ethernet by MEF version 3 and also SD-WAN. From our perspective, the testing and the certifying of SASE solutions are very significant because they will confirm the quality, interoperability, and the performance of these solutions. Moreover, service providers and also technology vendors will have the ability to simplify the SASE architecture and to benefit from the main attributes of SASE. It is obvious that through these procedures, service providers and technology vendors will have the chance to define technology and solutions gaps, enhance solution performance, and improve the end customer's experience to cover real business objectives and needs that I believe that is very, very important. Last but not least, we believe that the end customers will feel more confident with the proposed solutions and with partners, as they will acquire some additional criteria for an effective test and evaluation.
All right, and with that, this deep dive session has come to an end. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We certainly appreciate you sharing your time and talent with us for this conversation. And to everyone watching at home, in the office, around the world, wherever you are, we hope you found this conversation insightful and enjoyable. Don't go anywhere. Got a lot more for you. This is the MEF Infinite Edge series. Thank you for watching.